Yo, SojuTalk Nation! On this week's episode, we'll be covering Fuego releases from Paul Kim X Chungha, EXO's Chen X Danamic Duo, and Crush. We'll also be cooking up some spicy news coverage, including 2020, the year of the K-pop World Tour, twice Stalker fans escalate their actions, a quick Produce series update, and February comeback madness and comeback timing. So prepare your body, take some vitamin C, because ain't nobody got time to be sick. Hit me with that intro! Hey, what's up everyone? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot at K-pop. We're coming at you with a super spicy episode 71, and we're recording on Monday, January 27th, 2020. I'm Doug, and joining me today, we got Warren.
Hey, what's up everybody?
And Anita.
Hello.
And as a quick reminder, leave us emails at sojutalkpodcast@gmail.com, subscribe to the SojuTalk YouTube channel, join the SojuTalk Discord, and be a part of the SojuTalk Nation. Links down below. In terms of announcements, you know how I've been making those collection videos lately on YouTube? Well, I dropped another one.
Yeah.
It is my photo card collection video, so go check that out.
It's one of those like mildly satisfying things, like it's like when you see a full collection of cards, it's like mildly satisfying. You know what I'm talking about? Like you see those videos on
Yes.
Instagram and whatnot.
Yes.
It's like those. So I was trying to support Douglas.
I'm not gonna like claim my photo card collection is good or anything, but please check it out. But that's all the announcements this week. We are going to be doing something a little bit different for our big new releases. Normally, this is where I would list all the songs and the dates, and then we go through them. But honestly, this week, there's no pure K-pop songs came out, which is really strange. We have two songs that are sort of R&B hip-hop, and Warren's the resident hip-hop head here. So we're going to let him lead the big new releases this week, so have at it, bro.
All right, it's my time to shine. Today, I'm the big guy. I'm the leader. I'll get to it. Okay. January 21st, we had Paul Kim and Chungha come back with Loveship. January 23rd, Thursday, we had Dynamic Duo and Chen with You. And on the same day, we saw a music video release for Ibiza by Crush. But let's go back to the top, talk about Paul Kim and Chungha's Loveship. All right. So Paul Kim is from New Year Entertainment. He debuted in 2014. The last three songs include So Long, a Hotel de Luna OST, Empty, and Me After You. And he has a total of one song, one show-ins. While Chungha is from M&H Entertainment. She debuted in 2016. The last three songs are These Nights with Rich Brian, Run with Mami Son, and Run with Grizzly. So all collabs. And she has a total of 13 music show wins as a soloist. Now, if I may, I would like to lay down my opinions first.
Go,
ahead.
go.
So I'm guessing that most people are going to think that I have very positive opinions towards the song today.
That's a joke. This is a pure ballad, sir.
Man, wow, what a ballad. It felt very roomy. It felt there was a lot of empty space to play around with, both in terms of the music video and both in terms of the song. What was really notable to me was all the empty space in between each phrase, like in between each line after line. That's not something we see a lot, even in ballads nowadays, because I feel like, K-pop is all about, being able to market yourself. You gotta put in a lot of awesome stuff in the shortest amount of time possible. And to a certain point, I always feel like that's almost overstimuli, It's like when you make a bowl of dry pot or hot pot and you put in too much like peppers, like it becomes too spicy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I get you.
this had the right amount. That's what I actually liked about the song, right? Like, there was, especially earlier on when they weren't singing on top of each other, there was a lot of like, empty space, between like, they're called breaks in terms of musical notation, and like there's a lot of those between each line by line. That was great. I didn't feel forced, to go forward with the song. It just felt very soothing and very, progressing in a very natural manner. And then later on, when they're singing, with melodies on top of each other, with chords going on and whatnot, it was like, okay, now we're progressing towards the peak of the song, and then there was a boom at the end, and that was great. That being said, it's a nice ballad. It kind of feels like a drama OST, that kind of ballad.
It does.
Yeah, it's not one of those like super sad, I broke up yesterday and I'm drinking soju for 5 shots in a row kind of song. It's more like, I'm sad, drama. Beautiful oppas.
What?
That's what Korean dramas are about. Like, there's always the, Anyways, I'll let you guys talk now. How do you guys feel about the song?
I'll stop you there, but
Okay.
I agree. I really like the open room concept of this set. I thought they had the treadmills going on.
Yes.
It was all like a lot of neutral tones. I was really into this. For those of you who don't know, Paul Kim is one of the top male ballad singers in all of Korea right now. He's on pretty much every OST of big dramas these days. And whenever he releases music, it rises up near the top of the charts because of the ballad culture that's going on. Overall, he has a 10 out of 10 voice. He is so good at singing. But the thing I want to commend is, when we think of Chungha, we think of catchy songs, amazing choreography, stage presence. She held her own in this top-tier ballad song.
Yep.
Sometimes we forget how good of a vocalist Chungha actually is, and this song really points to that. She was great. The harmonies were awesome. The feeling I got from this song, I got a little bit of OST. I thought this was like a Disney ballad.
Oh.
I was like, dude, this could be a song in a Disney movie. That was overall. I was listening to the song. My sister was visiting this weekend. She's like, this is a Disney song. I was like, it could be for sure.
I hear that.
I kind of like the storyline too. It was like going through their lives, and they had like childhood. There was a swing, and then at the end we ended up in the wedding scene with a bouquet. I thought Paul Kim's acting was, I'm not gonna say funny, entertaining is the correct word. It was really cute. No, it was good though, bro. Some of the facial expressions at the end were a little bit overdone. I'm not gonna lie. I like Paul Kim, but he was acting super happy. I was like, bro. But overall, I thought this was a great collab. It's not often you see ballad singers and like pure ballad singers and straight idols collab. I thought this was, I'm not gonna call it a once in a lifetime thing, but it doesn't happen very often. Overall, as someone who likes ballad, fantastic ballad. But what about you, Anita?
I've also had a very nice positive review for this song. I'm a fan of ballads, so I was looking forward to this collaboration. I've heard stuff from Paul Kim before, great stuff. And I feel like I had some introduction to Chungha's singing ability as well. So I kind of had some expectations going in, and of course she did really, really well. I feel like for me, it's been really interesting seeing all of the different types of collaborations she has been doing recently.
Yes.
Because it's like very, very like trendy stuff and also like very sentimental stuff. Like, and then her own solo projects are a completely different vibe. So I really like this because I feel like she's really trying out different things and growing as an artist. So moving forward, I'm really interested to see what she does in her solo stuff later on. But yeah, I really enjoyed the storyline for this music video. I think some people in the comments were interpreting it as like childhood friends that develop feelings and then those feelings get acknowledged at the end, especially like the very, very ending where like the kids come up behind them and push them together.
Right in the feels.
It was really cute. Yeah, it was really cute. I really enjoyed it. I think I agreed with you guys when you said like the set itself was super simple, but it allowed you to also like fill in the gaps for you, like you yourself will like kind of figure out like what's going on. And I don't know, for me the acting felt very genuine. Like it didn't feel like they were trying too hard. It felt like the wedding scene, it felt like they were kind of just surprised with the confetti and stuff.
Okay, if let's say I'm a ballad singer, right? I'm a ballad guy. I sing alone normally, write some sad songs in my apartment.
That's
go to the studio.
Singer, yeah.
Go to the studio. It's just me and like one PD, right, doing the song up. If they were like, you're gonna do a collab song with Chungha and you have to act, Like, I could be George Clooney real quick, yo. I take like 20 acting classes before that. Like, I wonder how that is because like he I don't know if Paul Kim does a ton of collabs, but definitely doesn't collab with idols on a regular basis. And
Yeah.
I wonder how that experience was for him. But continue, Anita.
No, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was really nice. It almost felt like they themselves had like really good chemistry. Like they were comfortable and joking around. So I enjoyed it as an audience member. But yes, I really enjoyed it. I hope Chungha and Paul Kim keep doing more stuff together because I feel like it was really nice. So I wouldn't mind to see this again later on.
I'm not sure if Chungha's gonna be doing more stuff with Paul Kim, but I do feel like she's been building more of a portfolio. You kind of mentioned this earlier, right? With her doing a lot of collabs recently. And besides the ones I mentioned earlier with Grizzly, Rich Brian, Mommy Stone, she's done featuring tracks on like stuff like Changmo, and it really feels like she is trying to explore all of the possibilities of what she's able to do in terms of her, to the extent of her vocal abilities. And it really, really makes me excited for a full-length album where there's gonna be a lot of different genres that I hope she explores. It really feels like she's building a portfolio almost.
She could release an album that's called like Chungha and Friends, and it would be awesome. Like it would be many different notes. That would be a great album.
That'd be nice. All right. I think this is a good point to move on to Dynamic Duo and Chen's You. Chen is from SM Entertainment. He debuted in 2012 as a part of EXO. His last 3 songs were Beautiful, Obsession, which came out with EXO, and then Shall We, which was a solo track. And he has a total of 5 music show wins as a soloist, but a whopping 119 wins as a part of EXO. So that's 124 total. That's a lot of wins.
As an individual, he might be the most music show wins because EXO holds the title. So as an individual, he might hold the most. I don't know.
Should be up there
Baekhyun. No, actually, it might be Baekhyun, but Chen is like top 3, top 5 in all of K-pop.
So what I'm hearing is that he's the music show god. He shows up, takes all the awards, and leaves. Okay, so that's Chen. And Dynamic Duo is from Amoeba Culture. They debuted in 1998 as a part of a trio called CB Mass, and then re-debuted in 2004 as Dynamic Duo. Last 3 albums included Off Duty, Grand Carnival, and Lucky Numbers. And then they have 4 music show wins. And I mentioned albums rather than singles because they are, I would say they're an artist that relies more on albums than singles. But let's begin with how I feel about this song real quick, right? This is coming hot off of the heels off of Off Duty. Which was kind of praised in many aspects because in many ways it was a good mix between modern music trends and something that Dynamic Duo is really good in terms of both their rap style, their production value, production style. Really, everything was a good mix. It was like the OGs doing a flex with like with like a very modern twist. That was how Off Duty was kind of praised for. That being said, not the best single following that, really. It feels almost too stereotypical of a rap ballad. It's stuff that I feel like was super big 3-4 years ago, maybe even 5. Has already been extremely well explored by not only Dynamic Duo but other artists like Epic High or Sunny or these Verbal Gent or these general population friendly rappers. And with that in mind, it does a lot of the things that felt very stereotypical. Chen's performance was great. It was fine, but at the same time, it really felt like he was being used as a person to just carry the chorus. It wasn't. It didn't feel like we have Chen. It feels like, all right, Chen, you're gonna sing this part, and they're gonna be the same thing over and over again, because we need a catchy chorus. So the chorus was a little underwhelming. The verses are a little underwhelming. I was a big fan of Treza's verses on the last album. On this track, it was alright. No.
Cheja was not great on this track.
No,
I don't think he was.
Yeah, I've seen better verses from him, including a lot of the older albums as well. Gekko's verse, I mean, I don't expect him to go like absolute hammer on this album. On this track. So I'm not gonna like say he didn't go ham, so he's bad. But at the same time, it was kind of, I was like, it was all right. You know, he held his ground. He did what he did all the time. That being said, he did what he did all the time. Stuff I've seen while he's doing featuring verses, stuff I've seen in a solo album. And I'm not saying doing something you're good at again and again and again is bad. But at the same time, I would rather listen to the songs that have come before this track with the similar style, similar verse, similar layout, whatever, because they did them first, and I'm already, more awesome at that. However, if this genre or style of music is, something that's up your valley, up your alley, not valley. My God, if this style is something that's up your alley, I'm sure you would have enjoyed it. It just doesn't happen to me favorite alley of music. So I don't know. How'd you feel about this, Anita?
For me, I don't know. Maybe it's because I really enjoyed this kind of, I guess, as you mentioned, Warren, like more general audience friendly hip hop, more R&B style. And to me, I feel like Chen's addition in the song was really interesting. And I felt like it did add, like, I understand what you mean about like it being just in the chorus and more like supplementing like the chorus part really and not the whole song. But I feel like it did fit for me. Maybe because I am also a fan of Chen's solo stuff as well. So I feel like, oh, this kind of feels very similar. Like it seems to go very well in my opinion. I do feel like for me, a lot of my attention was on the music video.
Yes. Oh my God. Praise, Anita. Keep talking about that
just
music
because, well, first of all, it's very much like cinematography, really, really good, like movie quality, really. It reminds me a lot of what Picturing was doing with her solos that she came out, her singles.
Very good point.
Where it's like very interesting. Like you're not really sure what's going on as far as the storyline, but like the actors are really good, and there's something. I think there's some sort of like, I wasn't sure if it was like time traveling or like memories of the past that are catching up to the present. I don't know what was going on, but it was really interesting, and I feel like it having that combination of like a very like indie type of music video, like the not very mainstream, plus like a more pop ballad singer and then dynamic duo as like more of the hip hop scene. It was a very interesting combination, and I feel like it's not something that I would have thought of, but it worked for me. Like I thought it was interesting, and I don't know, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really nice.
Should I give my takes now, Anita?
Yes.
Go,
music
Doug.
video.
I was so distracted by this music video.
Oh my God.
that I had to I had to find audio only versions of this song to listen through separately. This music video, number one, I don't think it fits the song super well. I think there's a little bit of disjoint there.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, I think Chen's vocals great as expected. I'm happy to see that people are supporting him on this release due to the timing of it because of the whole marriage / pregnancy. He's gonna have a baby type thing going on. So it's interesting timing. That's a whole other discussion. I think Dynamic Duo, the rapping I thought was a little bit mixed, as Warren said. Some of it was good, some of it was like, I don't know. But my main thing was this music video. Was that old dude a time wizard or something?
I don't get it.
Here's the thing. The music video starts, there's this young girl who, number one, goes to the store, forgets her money, and somehow the cashier gives her I think it was candy for free. I was
Right.
What place does that happen? Like that's what I thought. And then eventually she gets on a train. At one point at the beginning, the old man starts staring at her on the train platform. I thought that was creepy. I was like, bro, why are you staring, fam? And then she gets on the train. She's sitting somewhere. It's one of those seats where the seats are facing each other. It's like with a little table in the middle. All of a sudden, the old man sits in front of her. I'm like, bro, creep, stranger danger, right? And then he hands her the locket, right?
Right.
Normally, in these types of things, when you get handed a locket, you normally change time to go backwards because generally people perceive going backwards in time as a good thing, right? You're gaining more time because time is heading in one direction. Nope, this locket makes you older. The worst locket in history.
That. Yeah.
Now, the only way this could make sense if this is just like a reminiscing type video of the past, right? But then we had the whole scene where she lives that whole day again, but she's old now, right?
Yeah.
It's clear that the man and her were lovers when they were younger. That was for sure clear. I thought.
Yeah.
Something like some kind of connection. But at the same time, I thought the plot was very convoluted and didn't make sense on first view.
Yes.
Maybe like in 2020 they are old people and they were like reminiscing back when they were younger.
That's what I thought
but
too.
even if she's actually old the whole time, why is he creeping?
That's true. Like, why didn't he say? Because then it takes his perspective at some point, right? And then he sees her at the candy store, but he didn't approach her there. So I don't know. It's very, very
it would have made sense if they used the time traveling necklace more as a plot device, like showing her losing it in the past when they broke up or something.
Right, yes.
If they just added in a scene that they broke up and she gave him back the necklace, this all would have made sense, right? That's the shot we were missing. Because then it would have been like, oh, he saw her, he wants to reconnect, he's like, remember me, here's the necklace. All of this would have made sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because we don't have that shot, this man is a wizard, Harry. You're a wizard, Harry. That's literally the vibes. And I get that I'm the type of person who says that music videos don't need to all the time have clear stories, right? But when you're attempting to have a story, it better be clear. That's my take. Because I was very distracted.
Maybe they wanted to leave it up to the interpretation of the audience.
I mean, are they gonna spin a top at the end or something? Inception over here. I don't know. Overall, though, I the music video took away from me, but I thought the song was aight. That's my take on the song.
Aight.
Yeah, I didn't really pay that much attention to the music video.
You should have. It's so confusing.
To me, it was just people walking around that I did notice that people got older as things went, but I mean, I paid attention more to the song. If I can go backtrack a little bit, I didn't mean Chen's like vocals were bad.
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I felt like they could have utilized him a little more. I felt like he was
that was clear. You were more just saying like you got Chen. He's a very talented guy. Has a lot of popularity. You should utilize, like, sort of like Paul Kim. I don't know who wanted the Paul Kim Chungha collaboration, but they used Chungha to like a great extent and all of her talents. Yeah, I think that was the point you were trying to make.
Okay, all right. As long as
I got you, bro.
Thank you, my friend. Dog.
Move on to the last song. Move.
All right, on to the last song we go. We got
Jigga,
Ibiza by Crush. Ibiza by Crush. The man is from P Nation, formerly Amoeba Culture. He debuted in 2012. Last three songs that were not a part of this album was I Wanna Be Yours with Pink Sweats, Napa, and Lay Your Head on Me. He has a total of one music show in. And this song is a single off of From Midnight to Sunrise, following the previous lead singles With You and Alone. So this is the third music video from this album.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not that big of a Crush fan.
Yeah, see, this is how you can tell, listeners out there, this is how you can tell we're like digging the bottom of the like barrel here. You've never covered Crush. But I mean, so this comes hot off the heels of the previous album, or the recent album, From Midnight to Sunrise. Which, to talk about the album real quick so that we get the context, I wasn't the world's biggest fan of the album. It was nice. It had a lot of traditional R&B and soul aspect to it. And when I think of Crush, I think his best pro is his ability to do almost every genre of R&B perfectly. The guy does bossa nova in a really nice way. He does tech house in a really nice way. He does like feature funk. He does a lot of wacky ass genres that might or may be influenced by R&B, and he does them really well. He's a decent rapper as well. It's great. That being said, this album felt like a mediocre version of everything he can do. in terms of like the previous singles I've seen from him. He had an album with a song called Serial on it. I forget what it was called, the album. But that album was a great like slice of what he of his like skill set. So that was really awesome. But and then this album dropped, and it was it was well produced. The sound design was awesome. At the same time, it was a little forgetful, to be honest, because the melodies weren't amazing.
Serial was on the album Wonderlost, which came out in 2018.
Great album.
Yes, great little EP. Blue hair crush. You know, they talk about tigers because, you know, we're talking about cereals. Anyways, going back to Ibiza, nobody understood what I meant by tiger and cereal. I'm sad.
I got you. Keep going.
Okay. Ibiza. That's a little deep house track. I think it was like near the middle end of the entire project. It was all right. It was a chill deep house track with, you know, Crush doing his thing that he's done on previous tracks, previous summer-ish songs. You know, the title is Ibiza. It's a holiday haven for partygoers in Europe. Clearly a summer feely song. That being said, a little awkward in terms of the entire album, and the entire album feels very wintry and very smooth.
Jazzy.
This is right. This is the only album where I kind of feel like I should be bumping up and down while listening to the song. But that being said, this album is not super bumpy up and down. It's like, it's kind of groovy. It's still kind of chill. Therefore, it's like a chill house, deep house kind of song. I mean, that being said, do I also think it's a little forgetful like the rest of his album? Yeah, it's. I feel like, you know, it's not super catchy. At least the previous track was catchy, you know, like, but this one isn't like super like catchy. The melodies are great. It's a great break if you're listening to the entire album, and this is why I keep mentioning the entire album, because when you're listening to the whole thing, it's a great like breather in between all this smooth stuff. And just as a single alone, it's kind of to me it kind of fails to appeal itself. That being said, it's a great addition to a playlist if you have a playlist full of songs like this, because it's really well made in terms of sound design, you know, mix and master and whatnot. It's really great. I want to quickly talk about the music video.
Can I have a question? I have a question.
Yes, you can go.
Why do rap songs sometimes have these really weird music videos where they just throw up CG and the weird animations all over the place? It's a common thing, right?
It's like one of the trends that's been going on for the past like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Crush is a little late to the game, in my opinion. Like, yeah. Remember, Dean had a song with Anderson .Paak.
Yup. Oh my god, I was gonna say that.
That
It
one.
reminded me of that.
I was trying to be like, I've seen a song by someone's like Crush that had this type of music. It's so weird. I don't understand it at all.
Technically, if you know what vaporwave is, if you go on Google, look up vaporwave. It's like bad graphics from early 2000s to late 90s that's supposed to give you nostalgia and has a lot of blue and pink, you know, and like a very tropical vibe to it, you know, like that's what vaporwave is. That's what they're going for here, clearly. I feel like that trend is like long gone, to be honest. But I mean, I feel like you guys have much more to say about the music video.
I got some things to say, sir.
All right.
Number one, groovy Crush song. You know, Crush is great. He does like a good mix of singing and talk rapping. This song particularly sounds a little bit like a Pharrell song, I would say.
I guess.
Overall, this is it's a very summery sounding song, and it's titled Ibiza, but the album's released in December, so I don't know why that happened. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. I think that Crush is a modern day Shakespeare. Let me read off some lines. Your waistline so hot, even the Kardashians would be impressed. Goddamn.
Wow.
What a lyricist.
Another one. I want you to twerk it. Don't stop till the morning. That is super deep and insightful. You know? He's basically saying, back that ass up. That's what he's saying. But you know, modern day Shakespeare Crush, he's using the full extent of language in the world. talking about Kardashians and waistlines, twerking, you know, artistic, beautiful language.
You know, I mean, here's the thing, right? I know we're saying this ironically, but he's actually using language to the full extent, and compared to like Kiss Ape or somebody like that.
I'm just saying, great lines. I'm not being sarcastic. I think these were modern day Shakespeare. Just pointing that out.
Man.
Overall, though, I think I'm not a huge fan of Crush. Clearly, from my questions about him earlier, I do like his music though. When it comes up, I'm like, oh, it's Crush. You know it's gonna be good. For me, he's mostly known as the guy who won the original Days Out competition.
Yes.
That's how I mostly was introduced to Crush, and they're like, he's also a singer. I was like, really? And then I was like, oh, he good. So that's something. I thought that this was an okay song. The music video though, really strange. It doesn't really do much for the song.
I just want to confirm before we talk to Anita that I am a Crush fan. I have the first album in physical copy.
I know.
You want to see the CD? Oh, CD, you know? Oh, okay, I can't show you.
Man.
But
I know you want the CD, Anita. I know you want it. Never. It's
mine. I don't have too much to base this song relative to other Crush songs, but I guess we'll trust Warren. But now, Anita, you can give us your opinions on Crush's Ibiza.
Well, I was personally a fan of his latest full album, From Midnight to Sunrise. Mostly because I really, really like the influences he takes from like jazz and all that music. So I really enjoyed the full album. And I also really liked the singles With You and Alone. This one is not like my favorite from the album, just because it does feel a little disorienting when you're hearing it. It's a little bit more upbeat, more, I don't know, it's just more upbeat, and that's not really what the context of the album was. Although I feel like I interpreted it as like if you went on a holiday or something like that in the winter, maybe. I don't know. Some like you want to be somewhere warm, you know? So that's how I felt like maybe that's the logic behind it. For me, the music video was just too much at the same time. I recognize the references. Vaporwave. Dean did something like this with a very similar sounding track earlier on when he was debuting and collaborating with a lot of artists in the West. But I don't know. I feel like Warren mentioned, I feel like that vaporwave aesthetic graphic stuff is a little bit old now. But it's interesting because I feel like for me, I find that genre very interesting, and I like that retro edit. It was just like too much of it, I think, for me.
Too much.
And I feel like sometimes like you could kind of work with it and like the color scheme, but I just felt like there was a lot going on. Like I didn't quite get what the story, like if there was a storyline or what, like any progression of the graphics or anything. It was a lot, but it's an interesting video if you have no real experience with like vaporwave graphics, because it's everything, like everything you could possibly do is in that video. But yes, I'm a fan of the album as a whole. I feel like for me this was more like an extra because I've already listened to it. I don't know if I will watch the music video again, to be honest. But I really liked the song. I enjoyed the whole album.
You know, Anita, I'm gonna go ahead and say that your opinion is incorrect.
Why?
I think it's a wrong opinion because there was a clear plot to this music video. You know,
what was it?
The lyrics referenced it clearly. You know, Doug pointed out, you know, your waistline so hot, even the Kardashians would be impressed. That's the plot right there.
Oh my goodness.
Shakespeare would cry.
Oh
I'm just,
right.
sarcasm, people. Please don't take this seriously. I mean, I think there were better singles off the music video, off the album. The two songs that came before this in terms of music videos, With You and Alone, I felt like are songs that were more appropriate and more appropriate in terms of being selecting singles off an album. That being said, there was a lot of good R&B albums last year, like really solid ones. And while Crush's album was like really good as well, I personally felt like they were a little overshadowed by other R&B albums. So
Okay.
I think it's
Oh, keep going.
time to move on.
Oh, perfect.
That's what I was saying. Oh my
I think
God.
that covers all the big new releases for this week. Just know next week and all of February is going to be a ton of new releases, but we will talk about that later.
Rocket Punch! Rocket Punch! Rocket Punch!
All right, you could get hype when we get to the segment, sir. Calm yourself. But now let's move on to our show winners. Anita, hit us with them, but it's a bit of a weird week.
Yeah, well, all shows were canceled due to the Lunar New Year celebrations, but there were some winners announced. So the show champion, M Countdown, and Show Music Core did not have winners, but Red Velvet won their 9th award for Psycho on Music Bank on Friday. And Zico won for Any Song, his first win on Inkigayo on Sunday.
Oh man, any song.
Awesome.
Just a quick thought to my mind. You know how like idols on YouTube, they like do like Happy Lunar New Year's, everybody kind of videos?
Yes.
Maybe you should do one of those.
Why are you making promises that you can't? Well, no, you're the one who said it. I want to see your Lunar New Year's video on our Instagram by the time this video is released. I'm throwing that out there.
No, I'm not gonna do an Instagram.
It's too late. It's too late.
I meant like right now. That's not what I meant.
That's literally what you were saying, sir.
No, I meant like I didn't even mention Instagram. Let's move on.
You kind of have to now, but
I'm cutting this out.
No, but we are now moving on to hot takes with Harold. So cousin Harold's going to come on and give his weekly hot take, and then we, the crew, will react and discuss the hot take. I will go get cousin Harold out of his pit of hate.
All right.
I don't know if it's pit of hate because like his hat is literally on the corner of the screen. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like Doug doesn't even try to hide anymore. Like,
Yeah.
all right. Well, how you doing, Harold? How's
Rocket
life going
Punch
for you?
coming out in February. Maybe it'll be another mediocre release, sir.
February 10th is gonna be an amazing release.
But the weekly hot take is fan chants are overrated and take away from the live performances of songs. Boom. See y'all next week.
Bye, Harold.
Bye.
Okay.
Yeah.
I sent
Okay.
Harold back to his room. But
Did you?
the weekly hot take is fan chants are overrated and take away from the live performances of songs.
Man, yeah, you were fixing your hat for quite a bit there.
Harold tried to steal it. I had to put it back on. But I know that we have very different opinions on this topic because we have.
You do.
Yeah,
mentioned
let's
this in
talk
the
about
past.
fan chants.
Let me start at the beginning. I'll go first, right? Because
Okay.
I'm pretty neutral about them. I think that fan chants do not take away from the live performance value of songs if the fan chants aren't bad. Now let me say that.
Okay.
I will not name any groups in this, but there are some fan chants for certain songs where even the fans struggle to say the fan chant.
Ah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when there's a group with like 13 members, they want to say every member's name within 5 seconds or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a bad fan chant. Fan chant should be very accessible, I think, by most fans and even the casual public. After watching a couple live performances, you should know, like, I can yell at this part. This is what happens here. I used to fully think that fan chants take away from live performances until I started to go to K-pop concerts.
Oh.
Once you're in the audience and you partake in the fan chant culture, I 100% understood why fan chants are a thing. It adds to your experience. You get hype. You feel a sense of camaraderie with the other fans. It's overall adding to the experience. And even though at home sometimes I think the fan chant might not be the best fan chant, I get why they're there. Those are my initial takes. Anita, before we get to Warren, Anita, what do you think about fan chants?
Actually, I feel like my opinion is kind of similar to yours because I feel that I don't really have anything against the 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 idea of having a fan chant for a song, because I do feel like it must feel nice. I imagine that for the artist to hear like, oh my gosh, like these people know us, they're trying to support us. Like as a performer, it would be nice to hear like the audience know your song and like the call and response type of thing that happens when they do the fan chants. So in that sense, I'm all for it because I feel like it's an interesting thing that not a lot of people that are fans that go to concerts and stuff do. It's very common in K-pop, so I feel like that's something unique about it. But I do agree with what you said, Doug, that it kind of almost depends on the quality of the fan chant because there are some that it almost feels like it's maybe it's like the fans are too focused on the chant that they're not maybe paying attention to the performance itself. So like the focus is not even on the performance, it's more on like the fan interaction. So I don't know. I feel like to me, the fan chants that I've always felt like, oh man, like I know this, and I would feel like this sounds so nice when it's performed live. It's like stuff that is very simple and it doesn't overlap with the vocals of the performance of the artist. So I think for me, like my best example of when it's done right, it's the fan chant that DBSK has for Neurotic, and that's like very iconic. Where like it's very very simple, it's not super complicated, and it's only at a specific time in the song, and it doesn't overlap with the song itself, like the vocals. So for me, I feel like that's so nice because even though it's been like so many years and like they're not active as Five anymore, and like it's mostly a lot of the time I see like covers of the song and the fan chant's still there. Like the fans are still interacting with the song, and like like, oh, you like DBSK, you like the song. I don't know. It sounds really nice to me, but I do feel like sometimes it's a little too much when they try to do a lot during the song.
Yes. But Warren, how do you feel about fan chants?
You guys present the cons of fan chants with mostly under the condition that the fan chants are difficult to do. But what if fan chants are easy? Does that automatically make them good? Well, I am here to say no. I am a strong opposer of fan chants. Now, let me make this clear. I think they are a necessary evil.
Oh,
okay. They play a very important role in terms of K-pop as an industry, but I hate it.
Why?
Yeah, why?
I don't hate it. I just dramatize this a little bit. Here's the thing. When you're watching, when I'm watching like a music show or when I go to a concert, it's really because I want to see them perform. It's not because I want to hear the person next to me yell out the top of their lungs. It's kind of a lot of it feels forced, in my opinion. I'm as is with a lot of things I like in life. I don't like when things are forced. I kind of prefer things when they're more organic or natural. And that's why if the chants were natural, if they were like just oppa, like that's fine. I see that you're so passionate about your oppas, or for in my case like rocket punch, like I'm still showcasing that I'm excited for these people. But it feels weird that it feels weird that in order to be a real fan, I have to memorize a set of chants. Now here's the thing, and you guys might not think this way, but having been a part of the active Korean rocket punch fan base and being one of the few people that do not actively go to their offline events because I live in America, in terms of being active in the online communities, they actually do very much look down upon people who will not memorize the fan chants. And that is very true. And this may not apply to you. This may not apply to any of the fans. And I understand, but here's the thing. At the same time, it does create a barrier of entry.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It feels like in order to here's how it felt back when I was like being a bit of a fan of Girls' Generation and around 2010 2009 back when G and Genie was a thing. Me, like the other classmates in my class, were Girls' Generation fans, and there was a group of elites who memorized the fans, purchased multiple albums. While me, I'm a plebe here. I only purchased one album. I don't memorize the fan chants. I thought they were organic. Like it creates a sense of elitism within the fandom. Now, from a marketing perspective, this is a good and a bad thing because you are making your current fan base more dedicated. You're making your current fan base more bigger of a fan of the artist than you already are. At the same time, like I mentioned earlier, it becomes a bit of a barrier of entry. And I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier about organic being versus forced, because this is where it starts to compare things with rap concerts. There's a very famous concert series in Korea called Bunshin, led by Huckleberry P. It is the biggest rap concert that happens on a regular basis, and is led by a single person. They sold out Olympic Hall, which for a rapper to do is incredible. Like they're not an idol here, right? Like it's crazy. That being said, there is a culture. The song is on the tip of my tongue, but there's a specific song, and when that song comes on, Huckleberry P does not rap a single syllable, and the entire audience does the entire syllable.
Wow.
How did that culture come to happen? It was not because Huckleberry P uploaded the video one day where he was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do on the next concert. You will memorize the lyrics and you will sing along. That's not what happened. On the earlier iterations of the concert, people started singing along, and Huckleberry P was like, all right, if you guys are going to rap, I don't need to rap. You guys can rap for me. Like, that's what started happening. In rap concerts, you see this happen over and over again. You see the fans rap along to the lyrics naturally, organically, without this forced feeling of fanness where I have to memorize a specific way of showing my passion towards a certain artist. That to me feels like a marketing ploy, that's capitalism at its best. That being said, the artists probably do feel super excited when they hear the fan chants. I'm sure they do. I Rocket Punch has said it many times. So I believe it. I believe in you, Rocket Punch. I believe in you, Jury. But even if I'm sure they would have said that, even if I was singing along to the entire song.
I agree with some of your points, but not all of them. The first one, I think there's a clear difference between rap song and singing songs, which are idol songs. Because rap songs, it's like in certain idol songs, like, this is the point I need to say this fan chant. Like, it is very obvious.
Yes.
Whereas in a rap song, you don't know exactly. A lot of rap songs, which is you don't know exactly when to say specific words.
That just tells me that that even furthers my argument that there's no need for a fan chant. Why would I need a fan chant rule when
what I'm saying is that in rap songs versus idol songs, there's built-in points when the fans are supposed to say stuff. I get that argument, but I think that when the experience of having a rap song versus a singing song is two totally different things. Because a rap is an extension of spoken word, which is an extension of poetry, which is an extension of speaking. Singing is something different.
I wasn't comparing the genre to genre. I was comparing the experience, like the way these chants happen. Like, I wasn't saying like, I do see your point, but my takeaway is that there is this part of the music industry that does a very similar thing, but organically, and I still get the same excitement out of it. Would
you rather have when Rocket Punch sings, no one says anything the whole time, other than just goes, "Hey"?
That would never happen. Like, I've never been to a concert where nobody says anything.
No, I'm not saying, but other than random cheering, like, you would rather have a like K-pop concert when we just cheer when we're excited and not do like participate in the energy with other fans and that kind of thing.
If all the idols and all the fans were not doing chants, yeah. But we live in a world where everybody's doing chants, and therefore, yes, Rocket Punch, I would do the chants along with them. That's why I also memorize the chants for Rocket Punch.
Your thing about the so as a foreign fan, right? I really like the fan chants because I know that people are there supporting the idols I like. I think that's a main component of why I like fan chants, because it's like when we watch idols, we get more invested than a regular like American artist, because K-pop as a genre allows you into their lives way more than probably any other genre.
Right.
And I think that fan chants are just an extension of that.
Yeah, I do see your point, but at the same time, I still feel like it can still be achieved with just organic chants.
Also, on an iFan level, I don't think there is any pressure to learn fan chants. There might be, but for me, right, and I'm pretty deep into the groups I like. To be honest, I do not know all of the fan chants for any IZ*ONE song. Period. I do not.
Yeah, I'm supposed to do, when they do bam bam boom, bam bam boom 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 boom, I'm supposed to say the last boom 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 boom, and then scream at the end. That's my role. I memorized it. Like
I know like the choruses, because obviously I listen to the songs a lot, right? So
yeah.
But like I don't know the specifics in the verses, all of them, like at all.
I feel
Alina,
like
what do
in
you
that
think?
sense, I kind of see Warren's point about like it kind of dividing fans, maybe like, oh, you don't know the fan chants, maybe like I'm not saying that they do it with that mentality, like the fans themselves or like the group itself, like oh, only the hardcore fans know the fan chants. I'm just saying like maybe personally, like if you happen to go to a live performance of the group that you like and you don't know the chant, you might feel a little left out. Like I could see that happening, like Warren mentioned, but that's why I also feel like I personally like the chants that make it so easy to catch on. Like it's like you're just repeating like the word that they just said. Like it's basically the lyrics, or like I don't know, something very very approachable. Like for people that maybe don't even speak Korean, but it's something that you could catch on like really quick, and you won't feel left out either way. Which is, I think maybe that's why I think I prefer, I like the chants that do that make it like more, I guess it's not necessarily organic, because it does, a lot of groups are doing those videos where they say follow along with the chant, like this is a chant for the song, and it's not bad, but I feel like the ones where they simplify it like very very much, and it's like a word or two that you have to say, or something that's not too complicated. To me, that seems like it does the same job, but it's easier for people that are not familiar with it, or like might struggle with the language, to join in.
I think I will say that there is a time and place for fan chants, though.
Yes.
Like, let's put it this way. Let's say like a certain group comes to New York and you're following them on Instagram. They're like, we're doing a guerrilla concert in Times Square, right? And the fans show up, but there's also the general public around. Let's say the fans are like 40% of the group, 40% of the viewers. But just because people see people gathering, it's human nature to also want to see what's going on, right?
Right.
And there's a majority, just general public, who doesn't give a crap about K-pop. When I see videos and then the fan chants happen and it's like 5 people, I cringe a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't, but to be honest, sometimes I do. Like you know exactly the scenarios I'm talking about where it's not needed.
I mean, it's kind of sad, but it's one of the things that the general population doesn't really think too fondly of when talking about idol fandoms. Idol music is a very ongoing conversation in general music communities that I'm also a part of, and one of the things that constantly comes up as a part of things that they don't like is the fan chants. And I guess their opinions also have influenced me, especially with the hip hop communities as a part of, because hip hop attitude, what comes to mind? Keep it real, right? This isn't keeping it real; it's keeping it cash flow. If you know what I mean.
Can I make one more point?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
About idol music and hip hop. I think it's like, all right, in rap, although you might not be a tremendous rapper, right? Like I can't rap for my life, but if I listen to like a certain rap song 50 times, I bet you I can do some of the words, right? Or at least the important parts.
Yeah.
An idol song, as many times as like an idol sings the high note, I ain't gonna be able to do that.
Oh yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
That's like more towards your point where like them singing the rapping lyrics versus like singing a song. I think it's like a little bit different in that aspect as well.
I mean, I guess, but like, I still feel kind of weird when I yell each member's individual name
Oh no, like
on the fourth beat of like measures. Like, you know, what
I
I'm saying?
refuse to do that.
Like, yeah, I have it
name.
memorized just in case.
I'm gonna point out one. I'm gonna point out one example, not because I think it's a bad fan chant, but I think one part of their song is an example of a bad fan chant.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
There's a section of one of the Cosmic Girl songs. I really like Cosmic Girls. I think they're a great group. There's one part where they have about 7 seconds to name all the members.
Oh my god. I
And
would
you-
panic.
like like you know, number one, it's like the fact that the kids in Korea, the idols themselves, can't name all their names in the correct order really quickly. That might not be the right fan chant for the song. That's just one example. That's my example of when I think a fan chant is bad. But I think sometimes when the fan chant gets you more hype for the song, accentuates certain good parts of the song, I think it's fine. But I will say that there is definitely a time and place for them.
I had one more thing to say, but I forgot. Oh no. The classism in within a K fandom is it's definitely there. I think it's a horrible thing. If you
You think it's more in Korea?
This is
Because-
100% in Korea.
because everyone
Yeah.
knows Korean, so there's already that barrier down.
Yeah, no. This is 100% Korea. This does not apply to every fandom, and I don't think it really applies to Rocket Punch. It does apply to certain fandoms I've seen. I'm not gonna point fingers at which ones, but I've definitely felt, unwelcome in certain you know fandoms.
Yeah, no, I could see that because let's say I really like. Let's make a fake example, right? Let's say there's
okay.
this group I really like. I bought 30 albums. I spent all my money
my
to get into the
goodness.
fan meet, right? I was like, I gotta
Yeah.
get into this once in a lifetime, and I get into the fan meet. And let's say I don't know all the fan chants, and we're at the fan meet, and they're doing the song, and then some people give me dirty looks. I would feel very embarrassed.
Yeah, I mean,
That's where I feel like it's really weird. Like, I can be a fan in a different way, in a way that I
Yeah.
enjoy. Like,
yeah.
okay, at the end of the day, I'm spending my money the way I want. I'm spending my
Yeah,
time the way I
Warren, you
want.
tell them. Woo.
Yeah, that's all I had to tell them. But
Oh.
yes, I told them. There you go.
I thought you were gonna say some like insightful rant with multiple points that I was gonna hype.
No,
you
that
up
was
for.
the end of the point.
At the end of the day, whether you do fan chants or not really comes down to you, right?
Yeah.
Fan chants are an integral part of K-pop at this point, and there is no getting rid of them. It's going to be a part of K-pop.
They exist.
I'm
So-
sure my negative opinion of fan chants is something that belongs on r/unpopular K-pop opinions or something like that. So
Definitely does.
I'm aware of my minority of opinions here today.
At the end of the day, it comes down to how you perceive yourself. Because whether you partake in them or not is an action that you are going to take. And how you feel about that action is a feeling that you are going to feel. Although you might feel that other people are looking down on you, it's because you personally feel embarrassed about the situation. If you just didn't give a crap, then it wouldn't be an embarrassing situation. So at the end of the day, whether you partake into fan chants or you don't partake into fan chants, completely up to you.
But I just want to point out there are people. The people will literally say you're not a fan because like you don't do fan
Some
chants.
people.
Yeah, some people will say that. I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I know. Of course, that's what I meant. But it's up to you whether you think that what they're saying is valuable or not.
Yeah.
Just be a good fan. Support the groups that you want to support. Yeah.
Live your life the way you want it to.
Oh.
All right, Warren's like dabbing and doing weird choreography right now, but that covers the hot take for this week. Let us know what you guys think down below, and we will move on to the news and events from last week. Number one,
Let's get it.
in the prediction video for 2020,
Oh my god.
I said that K-pop in 2020 will be the year of the K-pop World Tour.
Global.
It seems like up until this point, I am very correct with that statement. So
For
this
sure.
segment will be
Yes.
called 2020, the year of the K-pop World Tour. Let's start with the big one first. On January 21st, Big Hit Entertainment confirmed BTS's 2020 World Tour and dropped the dates. Will drop some dates for the concerts. The BTS Map of the Soul tour will begin on April 11th in Seoul, and there are currently 37 confirmed concerts.
Oh my goodness, that's a
Big
lot.
Hit has stated that this is just the first round of tour schedule announcements, and that they only published the schedule of the events which they have dates and venues confirmed, and they will be later announcing different dates, so more dates on top of this.
Wow.
So currently, BTS will be making stops in 4 stops in Seoul, 2 stops in Santa Clara, 2 stops in LA, 2 stops in Dallas, a stop in Orlando, a stop in Atlanta, 2 in New Jersey, 1 in Washington, D.C., 2 in Toronto, 2 in Chicago, 2 in question mark, 2 in Fukuoka, 2 in London, 2 in Berlin, 2 in Barcelona, 6 in Osaka, and 2 in Tokyo.
Osaka, man.
Hold up, 6 in Osaka, 2
Wow.
in Fukuoka, 2 in Tokyo.
Yes.
That's a weird distribution.
For
Yeah.
context, in 2019, BTS performed 31 dates between the tail end of the Love Yourself and the entirety of the Love Yourself, Speak Yourself tours. And the Love Yourself, Speak Yourself tour recorded an impressive revenue of 135.9 billion Korean won, which is about $116 million US.
No, that ain't impressive compared to what's gonna happen with this concert.
Oh
Let's be real
my.
here.
Yeah, so
guys.
we have 37 confirmed dates, and they stated that they will be adding more dates once they confirm the actual dates for the concerts and the venues.
So, lots of concerts.
That question mark, though.
If you want to
Okay.
see BTS, you probably will at this point.
No, are you kidding? The demand is going to
Oh,
be
no.
ridiculous. These are all going to sell out. I will assure you that.
Oh,
Try your
you,
best,
you will
guys.
have the opportunity to if you are lucky. That's
There.
what I mean.
So if you're listening to this on the 29th, I think you have a couple days to sign up, at least on the New Jersey stop, which is the one I'm signed up for. You can sign up for a raffle for the pre-sale.
Oh.
Raffle
So,
for the pre-sale.
There's 2 ways you could do it on Ticketmaster. One, if you're a fan club member, I think you have even higher priority, but there is a regular level pre-order like raffle that I think it's a raffle because you have to sign up, and they say you'll be alerted if you are allowed to join the pre-order thing. So I think that is occurring at most of the stops in the United States as well.
Wow.
My goodness.
The other thing I want to point out is overall, while we're talking about world tours, I know they call them world tours, but a lot of the time South America and
Yeah.
Europe
Yeah.
and Australia,
Yeah.
and maybe we could get a concert in Africa would be cool. But a lot of
Yes.
places are not getting tour dates, and I feel bad overall because they're
Yeah.
calling them world tours, but they're not actually touring. Also, Southeast Asia. Why aren't they on this list right now?
Yeah, why are there like 10 dates in Japan and like none in Southeast Asia? Like, it's kind of weird.
Interesting.
So the question mark, right, that Anita pointed out.
Yes.
Yes.
I initially thought that there was a outsider's chance that they'd be coming to KCON New York because it's at the same dates on the poster. But now that I've looked more into it, that is the anniversary of BTS's debut, I believe. So people are expecting there to be like a BTS convention or celebration somewhere in the world.
Wow.
Okay.
Now, that
Very
being
nice.
said, the tour dates, it could be anywhere because it's at the tail end of the North America stops and at the beginning of the Japan stops, so they will be in Asia. So it could be somewhere in North America or somewhere in Asia. That's what people think are most likely. Specifically, people think it's going to be in Seoul, which I think would make the most sense.
It would
That
make
would
sense.
make the most sense, yeah.
But imagine if they'd be like, LOL, we're going to do our own convention in LA while you do KCON in New York. You never know. That would
That
be
could
such...
happen.
It could
I
happen.
mean, that just means there's gonna be less people in KCON.
Which isn't the worst thing in the world.
No, it's
But-
great for me. I'm probably not gonna go to the BTS concert, so it's great for me. Yay!
Okay. But,
Why?
I am trying to get tickets to this actively.
Oh, really?
because I think
Okay.
that
Yes,
going
good
to this
luck, guys.
concert would probably be the pinnacle of the K-pop experience because not only are they doing concerts, they're doing it at the massive venues, like not the small venues like Tokyo Dome,
Yeah. Living
MetLife,
legends.
Yeah.
City Field in Chicago. These are the biggest possible places to have these concerts. And even though I am not the biggest BTS fan, I think it would be one of the top K-pop experiences one can have.
Of course. Yeah.
That being said, we have someone on the server, Nobai is Nuna. She asked me to shout this out, so I'm going to. If you somehow get really good tickets for the New Jersey shows and want to sell them to her, she said she is willing to pay a lot of money to get those tickets.
Oh,
because she
dear.
has the means to do it. So,
Good luck.
shout out to
I hope
Nobai is
everybody
Nuna.
gets tickets.
Shout outs.
But in terms of other world tours, Everglow announced US tour through My Music Taste. They will be making stops in Dallas, Atlanta, Chicago, Jersey City, and LA in March. I think the tickets are already on sale for that, so good luck getting those.
Nice.
G-Idol announced their Island World Tour, and that is confirmed for 2020. They think that they have the dates and the venues leaked online because they looked through like the code of one of the websites that has promoting this tour. Bunch of tour dates, like way more than I thought. Some of the venues are a little bit weird, but we'll see what happens there. SM Entertainment revealed that Red Velvet is preparing for the La Rouge World Tour. Blackpink World Tour will be happening sometime in March sometime after their March comeback. That is not 100% confirmed, but people think that is true. Additionally, Monsta X, AB6, Stray Kids, and ITZY have all announced or have been taking part in global promotions.
Well. It's a year of tours.
Yes.
Your
I think
favorite
the-
artists are coming to a big city, probably near you.
I think in terms of American fans, there is now becoming a distinction between groups that are at a level to promote on their own on world tours or are able to come to KCON still.
Oh.
I don't know if that's gonna dilute the KCONs over time, but like if you put one and one together, it seems like this might be the case.
Interesting.
Because I don't know how much money that these groups make on these tours, but at the same time, if you're capable of filling an arena or a venue by yourself, unless KCON is paying you a lot of money, why would you go? Maybe for the promotion, but at the same time, you have to plan to go overseas and it's a lot of logistics.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that kind of goes back to my concern that some of these groups might be doing it just for the flex. Like I feel like I'm concerned that groups are doing it because it looks good in their resumes rather than I'm gonna profit off of this, which is what certain groups have done.
That is true. I have read reports in the past that sometimes groups don't make money on these tours.
Yeah, no,
It's more
'cause
just for the promotions.
No.
Yeah, no, it's a great way to get investors involved, right? Because like, you know, let's say I work at ABC Entertainment. You know, I had a girl group or boy group XYZ. You know, just come back from a world tour. The truth might be that there was almost no, you know, there was almost no profit. But you know, to my investors, I could be like, yo, world tour guys, successful.
And the reason we're saying there's not many profits is you have to think about it, right? A lot of a smaller group, they might only do a venue that sits like 2,000-3,000 people a night, if that, right?
Right.
They might do 20 stops, but you got to think, you have to not only get the group, you have to get the entire staff, and you have to produce this tour, and you have to room them in America the entire time.
Yeah.
Get tour
Right.
buses, transportation, logistics, audio equipment. The
lot of
cost
work.
could be astronomical.
Yeah, it's
With a
like
group
at
like
least
BT
100 people moving around all of these cities.
Yeah, and well, I don't know 100. That seems like maybe too much. But at the same time, you got to think like a group like BTS, when they're filling out 80,000 seats, they're going to make money. 80,000
Of course,
seats,
yeah.
that there's money to be made. But when you're filling out maybe, let's say you're doing venues of 500, you think the tickets, what are they, like $100? That's like $50,000 to pull all this off plus sleep people. You might not be making that much money. So there is something to be said. At the same time, I sincerely hope that everyone, wherever you are listening to this podcast, I hope some groups come to know near where you are. I hope they can spread the love out, because there is now huge demand to see K-pop throughout the world. And I think that the K-pop companies and the groups, if they can sustain the tours, should visit all these interesting places.
Yes.
Do you guys got anything else to say or no?
I hope Rocket Punch comes to New York. That's what I
Okay,
hope.
the next segment I'm going to be talking about is Twice Stalker fans in quotation
no.
marks
Oh.
escalate their action.
Christ.
So this past week has been a rough one for Twice, with 2 incidents involving fans overstepping and invading their privacy. The first incident was reported on January 23rd, involving a foreign fan of Twice's Mina. that was questioned by police after visiting her home in Japan. The fan posted online about his side of the story and stated that he was detained by police after visiting her parents' home and talking to Mina through the doorbell camera.
What?
Before he was released by police, he signed a document that stated that he would not visit the house again and was told that Mina's family is very scared of him. He then expressed his disappointment towards Mina and stated, "I only committed the crime of loving someone, ringing her doorbell and leaving a love letter in her mailbox just to get completely ignored, and the police called on me." Later post stated that he has left Japan and flew home but was done with Mina and may consider selling her personal information.
What?
Yes.
What is this?
I mean, overall, if you're this type of fan, I think the underlying message with a lot of these fans that are invading idols' privacy is that there's clearly mental health issues going on that are not being addressed. So, although we do not want these things to happen, we have to understand that a lot of the times these people can't help themselves from doing these types of actions. But that being said, the types of actions they are doing are completely unacceptable and should never be done by anyone who considers themselves a fan or by anyone in general.
You know, if we're gonna talk about mental illnesses, like, or whatever, I'm gonna need a diagnosis from a doctor, and until that happens, this is right. Like, come on. If you can prove to me that this would not happen if that individual was under the right circumstances of mind, if you cannot prove that, I'm gonna assume that he's going loco for who knows why, and he needs to stop.
I feel like what Doug was saying though is that not necessarily trying to defend their actions in the sense by saying like, oh, this might be other things that we are not aware of going on with this person, right? I think it's just
that I'm saying like these actions are obviously not acceptable, but clearly these people need help.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I apologize.
Yeah, because I was like, what kind of take are you trying to take here? Jeez, bro.
No, but this is so scary. So scary.
Number one, she is going through her own struggles at the moment.
Yeah.
And this does not help at all. And the fact that this fan feels justified in his actions and wants to sell her personal information is ridiculous. But now let's move on to some personal information actually being exposed.
Oh, man.
It just gets worse and worse. It's like a train that never stops.
Yesterday, on January 26th, Twice's Chaeyoung spoke up after Nayeon's infamous stalker, who we've talked about in the past, posted Chaeyoung's phone number publicly on his Twitter account. In the Twitter post, the stalker posted Chaeyoung's personal phone number and requested that people message her asking why JYP was ignoring him and why Nayeon hasn't spoken to him directly. The post was quickly removed, but the damage was done. Chaeyoung later posted a statement on the Twicetagram account on Instagram, and she wrote, this is a direct quote that has been translated, "I think I've reached my limit of silently waiting for people to step back and waiting for the right time. The moment those 11 seemingly random numbers were posted on the internet by an individual with no consideration or respect, my phone was flooded by calls and text messages, and I am going through things that I should not have to go through. These problems not only happened to me, but to my precious members and many other idols in our agency. I ask for you to think, even just for a moment, about how your calls and actions, which you don't put much thought into other than to package them and say that it's interest or love, make so many people feel fatigued, nervous, and worn out. And don't let your neat little package of bringing a bad name to the fans who send their interest, support, and love to us in the right and healthy way. I am not a person who is easily shaken by issues like this. I am not writing this because I am unable to hold back my anger. I just wanted to make sure that I properly get across that this is wrong. This is something to be ashamed of."
Perfect response.
This is something to be ashamed of.
Now, you would think that one would get the message if that kind of post happened, but overall, this Nayeon stalker fan has been trying to play victim even after releasing her number to everyone on Twitter.
Bro, what?
He has said, like, to summarize, he's been like, oh my God, I'm receiving death threats now, which death threats maybe a little bit too much, but what do you expect after you do this, right? He's also saying, like, put yourself in my shoes, but he never puts himself in Twice's shoes, which is
Hold up. I would not want to put myself in those guys' shoes. Like, man, I am happy being Warren here. Like, I don't want to be a creepy stalker. Like,
no, that's not what I'm saying.
no. I know that's what he said. I'm saying this to him. I wouldn't. Stalker, man. You listen here if you listen to the podcast. I don't know if you do. But if you do, I don't want to put myself in your shoes because your shoes are like smelly and terrible and like have holes in them and like are like creepy and have like cake inside them and like the cake's like 2 weeks old, something like that. Like, gross.
I personally don't like to. I understand that his actions are terrible, but at the same time, this is clearly someone who needs help, and I don't like to just dump on someone because I know what he's doing is clearly illegal and he needs to be punished for it. But these are not the actions of someone who's thinking properly.
No.
Now I just feel bad for dumping on him.
No,
But
like,
I mean, that's the thing though. I feel like a lot of fans, I feel like their anger is like understandable because we don't know this person. This is a stranger. Twice doesn't know this person either. Like, it's very scary. You worry about your own safety. You don't know what his intentions really are.
exactly.
Like, so it's scary, but we do have to realize that these people need help. I don't know if it's hard. It's hard for people that don't realize they have a problem to seek help themselves, right? But I hope that they talk to someone and like work through their issues as well because I don't know. I feel like it's getting really out of hand.
Well, but here's the thing. Up until this point, he had technically, and I'm saying technically very lightly, he technically had not done anything illegal. Like, I know buying, like, overtly illegal. I know he potentially had bought Twice's flight information, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, there was no direct proof of that. What he did by releasing her information does violate Korean law. So there is actually something he can be prosecuted now. It seems that, well, he's gone radio silent and people are speculating that he is trying to leave the country because he had posted that he's trying to leave the country. We'll have to see what happens. JYP released a long statement. Basically, they said this act was ridiculous. By leaking Chaeyoung's number, it's a violation of the Personal Information Protection Act and is subject to legal action. And they will be pursuing the full extent of legal action against him.
Yeah, this is actually illegal. It's actually a crime. Like, this isn't just creepy anymore. It's like, time for shackles.
I think that I don't know if this term is great, but the term "this is why we can't have nice things" is perfectly suited for this situation.
Yeah, that's perfectly suited for this situation.
Like, as I always say, we are extremely privileged as K-pop fans that we even get this much access to idols. Like, I know we oftentimes think of K-pop as an industry that's very stifling of the artists, right?
Yes.
But it's not like I get vlogs about what Taylor Swift is doing. You know, like, right? It's not like I see Taylor Swift doing like silent eating challenges, or I see her doing a V Live. That is not a thing, right?
Doesn't she do Instagram live?
I know she
Some
does
people
that, but
do, yeah.
some people do that, but it's not like an expectation.
Yeah.
The level of interaction is very different, I think.
True.
It's so different.
Sure.
It's true. Taylor Swift doesn't have fanchants.
Exactly. Okay, but
I don't know about that, but I don't know.
I do not wish harm upon this person, as I stated, because they need help. But at the same time, what they are doing is gone way too far. That
Intervention is needed. Yep, intervention.
I feel like this is really one of the topics where I come back every week and I'm like, I wish this is not on the script. Like, I hope this week is the end of this story, or if there's any more progress with the story, it's the guy is seeking help, or the guy is, detained, or a solution, like a solution to the problem rather than
the silver lining is, although leaking someone's SNS information is terrible, it's nothing physical that happened. Like, The harm is that her phone number got leaked. She's getting all these crazy text messages, has to switch up her ID. But it's not like he physically acted against them. And that's the one thing I'm happy about.
Right. But at the same time, I also feel like things get out of hand. Like, I feel like he might be saying this, like, oh, I don't have any bad feelings. I don't have bad intentions. But, like, having this information in public, like, releasing all this stuff is really dangerous because somebody who does have bad intentions
That is very true.
now
Good
has
point.
access.
All right.
Adding on to that, if this guy escalates further into actually doing more harm, whether that be physical or mental, like I would not be surprised, and that's a really, really, really bad thing. I don't have much to say. That's the last sentence.
Okay.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
But let's now move on to a quick produce series update. So Mnet confirmed plans for IZ*ONE's resumed activities. So in a statement released on the 23rd, Mnet stated, IZ*ONE will begin their group activities once again in mid-February, and we hope to notify you again soon with more specific details. On the same day, though, over 800 fans gathered in an organized protest outside the CJ A&M building demanding X1's re-debut. And lastly, many of the X1 members have been opening up personal SNS accounts, and there are even reports that Usuk and Seungyeon, who will go by his original stage name, well, his pen name, I want to call artist name Woods, they will be both preparing for solo activities.
Cool.
So good for IZ*ONE. It seems like we're getting the Fiesta, although I will feel more secured once there's actual dates.
Right.
At the same time, I feel terrible for the X1 members, but it does seem like they are moving on quickly from this. I'm not saying emotionally moving on, but getting on with their careers quickly after
Right.
this. So best of luck to all the X1 members.
I feel really bad for the X1 fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's terrible. But lastly, February comeback madness and comeback timing. So February is set to be a super busy and crazy month for K-pop fans. The following comebacks and debuts have already been announced with official dates in the month of February. February 2nd, Kim Jae-hwan. February 3rd, G-Friend, Everglow, DKB, which is a Brave Entertainment boy group. February 3rd, Signature, which is a debut of C9's new girl group. February 5th, Luna and FT Island's Lee Hong-gi. February 6th, Icon. February 10th, The Boys and Rocket Punch.
Rocket Punch!
Yeah. February 21st, BTS, and the following are groups that have announced that they will be coming back at some point, but with no concrete dates. So AB6, IZ*ONE, Card, Pentagon, Ravi, and Sonamu. With all these comebacks and debuts on the horizon, I thought it would be cool for us to talk a little bit about comeback timing.
Ooh.
Because right now, we are completely stacked in the front of the month, and everyone seems to be avoiding BTS towards the end of the month. Now, what do you guys feel about that?
I'm praying Rocket Punch wins something before BTS starts sweeping everything like the gods they are.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
trying to be strategic. I don't know how well this is going to work out, though.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm worried.
here's the thing. I think that there's a balancing act between, are you at the point where you're fighting for awards? But sometimes it's better to just come back or be on the shows BTS is on because the amount of eyes on the product.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess it's good
Because
exposure, I guess. Yeah.
there is a strategy where, like, all right, BTS will be performing last, right? But people
Yeah.
are going to tune in to that show maybe a little bit earlier because BTS might be doing an interview earlier in the broadcast. So there is something to be said about when companies want to be, like, if they know we're not going to win that many awards or we're not in contention for them, to come back around the same time as popular artists because that's when these music shows have the most amount of people watching.
I mean, that's not music shows aren't the only things of concern here. There's a lot of feel like goes on to concerns like charts performance, for example, is another thing that people really try to strategize, or like people who who gets to go on Idol Room, or like for example, if 1 week all the girl groups came back, only 2 of them or 3 of them are gonna be on Idol Room. So I feel like a lot of that goes into consideration as well.
Yeah, we don't know the conversations that happen behind the scenes, but at the same time, it's like, if you're decently sized, you want to avoid BTS, clearly, right? Like, because you might go from winning 6 awards to winning 0. But
Man, why does Rocket Punch have to come back 11 days before BTS?
you know what the other thing about Rocket Punch's comeback, which is I think Woolim is having two groups come back within 2 weeks of each other.
Yeah, I feel like the Rocket Punch
Interesting.
comeback's a little rushed. Just a
Yeah.
little bit, like not a lot. And
We'll have to see though.
we'll see.
It is going to be a very packed first half of February though.
I mean,
gonna
we're
be
not gonna have
interesting.
to dig the bottom of the barrel again. I think that'll be good for us.
But in terms of quick takes, so on January 26th, yesterday, which was Sunday, BTS joined Lil Nas X in a performance of his hit song Old Town Road at the Grammy Awards. Also included in the stage performance were Diplo, Mason Riley, and the man, the legend himself, Billy Ray Cyrus.
Hold up, did you just
Yeah.
say Little Nas X?
Lil Nas X.
Yes.
Lil Nas X, that's the name.
Yeah.
It's a Lil, not a little.
BTS only was on the stage for about a minute, and some people were complaining that they didn't get their own stage. I think the discussion on whether they should get nominations or not is a whole other thing. Personally, I think they do. But they said that their goal for next year is to be nominated, which I think after this album comes out and breaks all the records, maybe I think they have a pretty good shot at it.
Yeah.
At the same time, they all looked super happy to be at the Grammys overall. I almost said the Oscars, at the Grammys. Also, Ailey was there too.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, so you could check that out on her. There's a picture of her with Billie Eilish. So shout out to Billie Eilish because she won the most
Ooh.
awards. But overall, I thought that BTS, they looked really hyped to be there, and I think that's all that matters.
Exposure, man.
Yes.
In other BTS news, RM and J-Hope will be joining Suga as official members of the Korean Music Copyright Association. And the group also became the first Korean artist to have an album go platinum in the United States, with their 2018 album Love Yourself Answer selling over 1 million equivalent units. That's
Wow.
pretty cool.
Wow.
The Korean Music Copyright Association, it's more for like singer-songwriters, so people who
Yeah.
have worked for producing songs. They send out a list of like 25 people every year, and now 3 BTS members are in that committee.
Yeah.
In strange news, Pledis has been hacked 2 times in the past week by a disgruntled Priston fan.
Wait, twice? Oh my
Yes,
god.
their main website, and then, which happened I think 2 days ago, and then earlier today, their audition website were affected.
Oh
The fan expressed their dislike of the company, posted about justice for Priston, and dropped some dank memes along the way.
What?
I'm going to be cursing for 1 second. There's a bit of a meme going on. I'm sorry, Mom, if you're listening to this, but the guy wrote, "We fucking woo," and that's become a very big meme in K-pop right
What?
now.
What is
Yes.
it? What is this?
When I heard the news of the hack, I rushed over to the website to see the meme for myself. The servers are down. It was too much traffic at once.
But there are screenshots everywhere of this.
I saw the screenshots, man. We fluff and woo.
So next, Ihai has reportedly joined Make Us Entertainment. The label is currently home to artists such as Sunmi, Urban, how do I say this, Warren?
Urban Zakapa.
Them and Pak Won. But Make Us has stated that they are still in contract negotiations, but people think she will eventually sign with them.
It feels like she's joining a good group of people
Yeah.
that feels
Definitely.
very home to her. Sunmi, Urban Zakapa, Pagwan. It's up her alley of music. I think I would say so.
Lastly, police are reportedly investigating SBS after Red Velvet Wendy's stage accident. As many of you know, Wendy suffered facial, pelvic, and wrist injuries after falling 2.5 meters during rehearsals for the 2019 SBS Gayo Daejeon last year. Well, in December of last year. SBS previously stated that they are doing an internal investigation, but police are now reportedly investigating the whole company for negligence, causing grievous bodily harm, which is punishable by up to 30 days in jail or by a fine. Currently, though, Wendy is still in the hospital over a month after the incident.
Oh no.
Since you did the
Well.
beginning half of the stuff, Warren, I will do the comebacks and releases for you.
Oh, I can still do them. I like doing this.
Okay, go ahead then.
Okay, comebacks and releases for next week. We got January 28th, Tuesday. We got Super Junior. We got Tex Keith. January
Woo.
29th, Wednesday. We got Golden Child and Dreamcatcher Xian's solo debut. February 3rd on Monday, we got Kim Jae-hwan coming back. And February 3rd,
I might be wrong with that date, so just say who's coming back.
On a date early on in February, there will be Kim Jae-won and Everglow and G-Friend. What a girl group party next week's gonna be. I'm excited. Also confirmed comeback news for next week. I mean, for the month of February, like Doug mentioned earlier, we got Signature, the new girl group from C9, The Boys on February 9th, Rocket Punch on February 10th,
A
Pentagon on mid-February, AB6 on mid-February, Tonamu on mid-February, NCT 127 with Jungwoo on March 6th, and Blackpink reportedly on in March, but we'll see what happens.
I can clarify. So Kim Jae-hwan's coming back February 2nd on Sunday, and then Everglow and G-Friend are the following day on February 3rd. But now let's move on to State of the Nation. We should keep this relatively short. We're almost at an hour and a half at this point.
Ooh.
The things I want to say, number one, the sticker wall behind me, almost completed.
Looks
There's
so
a little
nice.
gap. There's a tiny little gap.
No, I bought stickers to fill in the gaps because I didn't have ones worth the appropriate size.
Ooh.
That being said, don't do what I did. It was very expensive. It was a lot of money and too much brain power to do it. But in terms of the K-pop music I've been listening to, I've been really getting into Dreamcatcher lately.
Ooh.
Really getting into Dreamcatcher. I picked the bias too.
Ooh.
GU, the leader. Shout out to her.
Shout outs.
Other than that, again, K-pop in VR is cool. I'm very excited for Luna's comeback. That's the thing that I'm most hype about now. I pre-ordered the album, so that should be cool. But that's all I've been doing in the world of K-pop. What about you, Warren?
I feel like to keep it concise, I will go through a list of stuff I've been listening to. I've been listening to a lot of From S9. I don't know why.
Ooh.
Just
DK?
DK.
That's the
Oh.
best.
Oh man, good song. Tugun. Oh, great song. I still listen to a lot of Changmo. Boyhood, great album. I've also been listening to a lot of the album called Misfits by Sasamyeol. I think that might be one of my favorite R&B albums last year. It's a great neo soul album, awesome stuff. Listening to a lot of Igor by Tyler the Creator. I know that's not
Yes.
Korean, but it won the Grammys for
Have
rap
you seen his
yesterday.
performance?
It's crazy.
Did you
Wonderful, man.
have you
At the
seen
Grammys?
it?
No, not the Grammys. No.
Okay, so it was a little bit strange. He was wearing like a bob cut yellow blonde wig.
Yeah, that's
And
his
then-
thing
That's
right
his
now.
thing.
That's
And
his
then
thing right now.
see, I don't really know. And then Boys to Men were singing with him. That was pretty cool.
That
No,
was so nice.
I gotta go see the video. That being said, there's a little bit of like controversy going on in the internet right now because it won and it was nominated and then won the best rap album when there's barely any rap in the album. It says something a little bit about the Grammys. BTS isn't the only thing that's controversial about the Grammys. I'll just put that out there. It's just messed up in general. Also been listening to a lot of BFOTY by Futuristic Flavor. That might be my favorite pure trap album of 2019. Awesome stuff. I've also been listening to a lot of the original soundtrack from Weathering with You. a movie.
Oh, I saw that. I saw the movie.
You saw it too. Don't you?
Yes.
Isn't it a wonderful movie, Anita? It's
Visually very amazing. Quality work right there.
so beautiful. It comes from the same director that made Your Name. His name is Shinkai Makoto. It's one of those very romantic, very worldly romance anime movies with a very fantasy twist to it. Radwimps did the OST again. That's a Japanese band. But that's my music playlist of the week. Yeah, good stuff. How about you, Anita? What have you been up to in the world of K-pop?
Oh, honestly, I haven't been listening to anything really new. I think for me, with the Lunar New Year celebrations, I've been watching a lot of the. Oh my god, I always forget the name. It's the athletic competition.
Ayukde, right? The idol
Yes.
something athletic competition.
Yes. I've been watching a lot of clips from that. So it's been really exciting. I think for me, what I've noticed myself paying attention to the most is SF9 because I feel like they were doing really good. And I feel like I don't know. I'm really glad that they're getting more exposure, whether it is on Variety or stuff like this, because I feel like it does help with just overall performance of their songs and albums. So I'm really happy about that. I feel like a lot of rookie groups got a lot of screen time, I think.
Yeah, there's a trend right now where like you know how they normally show the most popular artists the most on screen, right? So it used to be like they would show Twice a lot or like Red Velvet showing up. The most popular group, I don't know if this is objective, but the most popular girl group that was there was ITZY, and they're like a rookie group.
Yeah, a lot of it. See, but I feel like
Yeah.
they had a good amount of like showcasing and naming other groups. Like Very Very was there, and Golden Child was there.
Yeah, it
On and
seems
Off
like there was
there.
there was way more diversity in the guy groups than the girl groups.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, but that was really fun.
Oh, can I say one more thing real quick before we wrap things
Yeah.
up?
Mhm.
So I've kind of glossed upon this a couple times in the earlier episodes here and there. But I work at a startup. I work at a tech startup. It's a social music platform. And if you're a musician, in college in America, we're trying to create essentially a better version of SoundCloud with a lot of social aspects to it. I'm not trying to sell the product right now. What I'm trying to say is we're doing a closed beta test launch right now,
Ooh.
with a bit of a limited access. By the time the episode goes out on Wednesday, I'm gonna have like I'll probably put it somewhere in the Discord, I guess. If you guys would be interested, if you're a college musician, what I'm trying to say, if you guys are a college musician, and just want another way for you to get exposure to your music, we're trying to help, and I kind of get that because I also make music and I want more people to listen to my stuff. So there will be instructions in the Discord somewhere. I haven't figured this out, but just putting that out there. It's a closed beta. It's pretty fun.
Nice.
Yes. Dope
Can you
stuff.
Can you name the product or no? Because you did.
Oh yes. I work for Quadio.
Okay,
it's,
cool. I was gonna.
Audio.
Quadio.
Okay.
Yeah, it's dope. I did confirm that my coworkers do listen to the podcast. So ignore what I said last week about scrolling through Discord at work. Boss man, I do not do that. I'm just kidding. Anyways.
Man, you should have told us this announcement at the front. You could have said it at the front.
I kind of forgot it at the front, to be honest.
Okay, well that makes a lot more sense now. I would be like, this is a pretty big announcement.
I'm not a marketing person, so like I'm not like super pressed to like get people on the beta. But you know, it's fun stuff.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Okay,
It's,
awesome.
yeah, cool stuff.
But I think that wraps up everything. This has been Soju Talk, your weekly shot at K-pop. I'm Doug. I'd like to thank the kid Warren, the Flower
kid.
Power Anita,
What are these
for joining me
names?
today. It has been fun, but we will see you all next week when we start to review a gajillion songs a week. Bye. Rocket Punch,
Bye.
February 10th. Woo.
Rocket Punch.